Tay nhỉ? Ờ, What are sao vậy không? What double tiểu anh chị? What are sao á mày? YouTube 可以讀興嗬，係你啦，沒用我手寫我，我 Dewi ya. Oke oke. Aja ya. Kayaknya stream aja lah. Oke, kan susah lah bro. Oh oke, saya mulai.
Selamat malam teman-teman semua, selamat bergabung kembali bersama kita Komunitas Chan Indonesia dalam berlatih dan belajar Dharma bersama. Seperti biasanya kita akan memulai sesi kita dengan melakukan gerak berkesadaran yang tujuannya untuk menyelaraskan tubuh dan pikiran kita setelah sibuk beraktivitas seharian. Kemudian baru kita akan sama-sama memasuki meditasi duduk bersama dan keluar dengan melakukan body massage berkesadaran. Setelah itu baru kita akan sama-sama mengundang guru kita Koyen Shifu untuk memberikan kita Dharma teaching. Yang topiknya adalah tentang pembahasan tentang platform Sutra by Master Finland. Langsung saja kita mulai latihan kita malam ini dengan Big Movie Meditation. Selamat berlatih, namo buddhaya.
When we do the exercise, remember always use our body as a grounding place and fully aware of the movements of the body, the sensation of the body. When we are aware of the movement of the body, is to aware of the main part first and then continue on to the entire body. So we will begin with the warm-up exercise. First of all, stand with feet apart, and the width of the feet is the same with the width of our shoulders, and our feet are parallel. The first one is to swing your arms left and right wide, turn your body left and right. One hand will tap on the shoulder, and the other hand will tap on the back. Fully aware of the movements of the waist, the movements of our arms and palms, and aware of the movements of the entire body. Relax the entire body, aware of the sensations of the body. If you're thinking of something else, aware of it and return to your body. Your body is a grounding place. Enjoy the time that you're here and now. Gently come to a pause, feet together, join your palms. Next is the waist movement. Stand with feet apart, parallel and shoulder width. Hold your palms to your waist, bend your waist to the left, front, right, and back. Rotate your waist 360 degrees. Fully aware of the movements of the waist that guiding the entire body. Reverse direction to your right, front, left, back, your movements are very smooth, gentle, relaxed. Enjoy your movements right there. Return to the upright position. Join your palms, feet together. Next is to swing your arms back and forth while bend your knees up and down. Stand with feet apart, parallel and shoulder width. Aware of the movements of your arms. While swing your arms, try so that your arm is not higher than the shoulder. Gently come to a pause, feet together, join your palms. Next is knees movements. Place your palms to your thighs and bend your knees starting from the left, down, right and up. When bending down a little bit, your upper body will also slightly bend down. Reverse direction. Return to the upright position. Next is extend left and right. Stand so that your feet forming a V and join your palms. Step to the left. Extend your arms. Your head also turn to the direction of the left. Now, first of all, the knees that in the front should not be over the tips of your toes. The second thing is that the two arms are in the same level, not that one is higher than the other. Return. Right. Return. Left. Return. Right. Return. Left. Return. Right. Return. Join your palms. Bow. So we are ready for meditation. You loosen everything that is tight in your body, and then sit on the cushion. Start with joining your palms. Place your palms, place your awareness to the tips of the middle fingers. Place your palms to your knees. We will do the head movements, starting from the left, front, right, back. Again. And again. Reverse direction. Right, front, left, back. Again. And again. Return your head to the upright position. Now do the 3 deep breathings. Make your palms like this and place the palms to your abdomen. The navel will be in the center of the oval shape. Breathe in to your nostrils. Bend your body down. Breathe out to your mouth. Up, breathe in. Down, breathe out. Up, breathe in. Down, breathe out. And up. Readjust posture. Sit correctly. Now check the entire body. Make sure that all the muscles are loosened. Once your muscles are loosened, then you use the scanning method. When scanned, then you're just aware of that part. Whatever that sensation are, just notice or just aware, that's enough. Start with your hair, where they in contact with the skin of your skull, aware of that part. Your forehead, aware of the sensation of the skin of your forehead. Your eyes, your cheeks, your nose, your mouth and your chin. And then to your neck, the skin, the muscles of your neck. Shoulders, upper arms, lower arms, your palms, fingers, your chest, the skin, the muscles of your chest. Your stomach, your back, the waist area, your buttocks, the touching feeling of the buttocks to the cushion. Put all your weight down to the cushion. Your thighs, your calves, your feet, return to the entire head, your upper body, your lower body, then the entire body that's sitting here. You're calmer and calmer. You may observe your breath. Just observe to see how it works. And then, very naturally, you will follow your breath. to your nostrils. In and out. If you feel that you want to use the counting method, then go ahead. Count your breath from 1 to 10. And if you have the method that you're most familiar with, then just use it. Don't mind your wandering thoughts. They come and go by themselves. All you need to do is don't follow them. You are working on your method right now. Stay with a clear mind. And of course, you already relaxed the entire body. Also relax your mind. Just pick up your method again and again. Please continue. When you hear the sound of the chime, tell yourself to come out of meditation. Take 3 deep breaths. Move your fingers. Slightly move your body. Gently join your palms. Place your palms to your knees and rotate your body from small circles to bigger circles. Reverse direction. And massage. Rub the back of your thumb so heat is created. And then press your eye sockets inward to outward. Then rub your palms. Heat is created. Put to your eyes. Release. Again. Rub your palms and wash your face gently. Below, inward, up and outward. And then place your palms like this. Right hand to the left temple, left hand to the right temple. And massage your head and the back of your head. And then massage your entire head. And then press the neck like this. Release and press again. Release, press, release. And then place your palm to the back of your head and slide down to your neck. And then your ears, squeeze from the edge and inward. And use your index finger to press here, this middle part of your ear. Slightly press and then step it out. And then use your finger to rub the shoulders, the muscles of the left shoulder, and rub the shoulder joint. And squeeze the muscles of the upper arm, all the muscles. Rub the elbow. And then also inward. And then they squeeze the muscles of the lower arm. And then press this point where the thumb and the index finger meet here of your palm. On the other side, the right shoulder muscles, squeeze, rub the joint, squeeze the muscles of the upper arm, elbow, inward, lower arm, and this point. Your chest, one direction first, reverse direction, and then the armpits slide down to the abdomen. The stomach, one hand on top, one hand on the other. Just do one direction. Start from the left, down, right, up. Do it slowly. Just one direction. Now in the back, you grab the back where it's hard to reach. With the two hands, then use your knuckles of the fingers here to press the shoulder blade on the side, and then the other side. Then use the knuckles of the fist to press along the two sides of the spine. Then use the back of your palms, rub, crisscross like this. Then use your palm to rub the lower back up and down like this. Then now is your left thigh. Squeeze the muscles. The knee. And the calf. Now you find the
the shin bone, and then the left side of the shin bone. Use your left hand, place to your knee, and then the ring finger will point to the middle finger will point to the shin bone, and then the ring finger, below, two fingers below. You'll find that groove, and you press, and you press, and you press, and then you press down. Finish with the left, now it's the right. Squeeze the muscles of your thigh. And then the knee. And then the calf. Squeeze the muscles of the calf. And find the right side, the right groove, the shin bone. Press, 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 and press down. Okay, now is the feet. Stretch the feet toward you, away from you, toward you, away from you, toward you, away from you, toward you, away from you. Rotate your feet. One direction first. Reverse direction. And then your toes, grab your toes, reverse, grab your toes, reverse, grab your toes, reverse, grab your toes, reverse, relax, and finish.
Selamat malam teman-teman semuanya. Good morning, Koyen Shifu. Now we have reached the session of Dharma teaching that will be given by Koyen Shifu. And the topic of discussion is explanation of Platform Sutra by Master Huinan. Let's invite every one of us to please turn on the video, please. And let's join our bow together. And bow for Shifu. On behalf of Shifu. Shifu, you have not let me ask to unmute. Can Shifu please click the okay? Thanks, Shifu.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all well.
Very well,
Today
Shifu.
is Thursday, August 20th, 2026. We continue on talking on Platform Sutra in the chapter of Instruction on Seated Meditation. Last time, we ended on a few lines like this. Even now, we cannot let go of our homes, our possessions. How could we let go of the self itself?
it sounds terrifying. So one might say, then I better not practice at all. But in reality, what is being let go is afflictions or vexations, and what appears is wisdom. When Buddhahood is realized, nothing is lost. Rather, one becomes completely free without obstructions. And that was ended on July 30th, 2026. So let's talk about the Platform Sutra's approach to meditation. One is gradual methods. Gradual methods of meditation rely on structured techniques, breath counting, contemplation of impurity, the 5 methods of calming the mind, and these aim to unify body and mind, gradually reduce scattered thoughts, and eventually enter samadhi. Yet, looking at Master Huineng's Chan method, then the Platform Sutra, however, offers a different perspective. It cautions, do not cling to the mind. Do not cling to purity, and do not cling even to stillness. Why? Clinging to the mind referring to delusion. Clinging to purity, then it's another subtle attachment. Clinging to stillness, then only self-nature can truly be unmoving. And therefore, Master Huineng teaches, when thoughts do not arise, this is called sitting. Toward and to inwardly seeing the unmoving self-nature is called Chan. Outwardly free from form is Chan. Inwardly undisturbed is samadhi. So there are 2 words that mention. One is Chan, the other one is samadhi. And over here, we need to know that Chan samadhi in Chinese means Chan Ding. Chan Ding. All right. So therefore, one, we said, one is Chan, the other one is samadhi. So this is fundamentally different from gradual meditation system. And the key difference is that in traditional gradual practice, one sits in a quiet place and then applies a method and gradually reduces discursive thought and eventually enters absorption. This is actually what we are doing right now for the practice. But if we go further, then we could see that in the Platform Sutra, it says sitting is not confined to posture. It is a state where the mind does not give rise to deluded thoughts and directly realizes the unmoving self-nature. So it's quite different, right? So when this is achieved, the mind is naturally not disturbed. And this is samadhi. And this is called the Chan, true samadhi. So from the outside, we call it Chan. From the inside, we call it Samadhi. But in reality, Chan and Samadhi are not two separate things. They are one and the same experience. So we can see this. We can see these points here is that this teaching brings everything together. Well, what? Not abandoning sitting, yet not limited to sitting. Not rejecting methods, yet not clinging to method. Not seeking stillness, yet naturally at peace. So, true Chan Samadhi is freedom amid conditions, clarity without attachment, stillness within movement. And this is the living Dharma, not something apart from life, but fully alive within it. So just think about it. You can know that it is not that easy. But that's how we see it, and that's how we understand the Platform Sutra. Again, more clarity of outer Chan, inner Samadhi in the Platform Sutra. Chan, it's emptiness, non-self, and no inherent nature. In this context, Chan refers to wisdom, not merely entering a meditative absorption. So to enter Chan means to awaken wisdom, to see Buddha nature, to realize emptiness, to directly experience non-self. Ordinarily, when we study the sutras and treatises, we may understand emptiness as a concept and non-self as a theory. But that is only intellectual understanding, not realization. So we often use a simple analogy. It is like taking a small sip of wine. Before tasting it, you may hear descriptions, read about it, but you have never truly experienced its flavor. Once you taste it, even just a little, you know directly, right? Likewise, when someone who has never experienced emptiness suddenly has a glimpse of it, that is like the first taste of Chan. Many people think that Buddha nature must be some kind of real, substantial thing. But in fact, Buddha nature is no nature. In the Diamond Sutra, it is called no form. In the Platform Sutra, it's called no nature. In the early Agama Sutras, it is described as emptiness, impermanence, no self. All of these point to the same reality, emptiness. And Chan is not theory, it must be realized. When one first enters the Chan experience and sees emptiness, it is still only a temporary realization. Why? Because afflictions are still present. Merit and practice are not yet sufficient. The power of cultivation is still weak. So when afflictions arise again, one falls back into the state of self. Where there is self, there is affliction. However, once one has had a glimpse of non-self, once one has experienced emptiness, then with continued practice, that experience can arise again. For this reason, the Chan tradition emphasizes, first, breaking through the fundamental doubt. Now, this referring to the method of Hua Tao, but it could apply to the other method as well. So fundamentally, breaking through the fundamental doubt, that is, seeing one's nature. So that is seeing one's nature. And then what? And then keeping and nurture it. That is, once you have this experience, then we practice and keep practice so that this kind of experience will stay with you a lot of time. So this is like a seed that has sprouted. It needs sunlight, air, water, nourishment. Only then can it grow into a strong plant. Then we need to know, after seeing one's nature, one must continue practicing in daily life. Even after awakening, one must continue to observe the mind constantly in daily life. One must repeatedly remind oneself. In Chan, this is expressed as raising the Hua Tao, or bringing up the thought. This raising means whenever mindfulness is lost, whenever the Hua Tao is forgotten. Now, this here referring to the Hua Tao means method. So whenever the method is forgotten, then laziness arises, scattered thoughts arise, habitual affliction arise continuously. At that moment, one must bring it back again. So in daily life means continuously raising right mindfulness, continuously return to the fundamental inquiry. Now again is the method. And less further explanation of the saying of outwardly free from forms is Chan. Inwardly undisturbed is Samadhi. Now again, Chan Samadhi. So what does outwardly free from forms mean? So we are letting go of all phenomena, that referring to physical phenomena, psychological phenomena, and even subtle spiritual phenomena. To be free from forms means not being attached to any of these. At that point, what remains is emptiness. This is the same as what was explained earlier as self-nature is unmoving. It is simply another way of expressing the same truth. Then, what does inwardly undisturbed is samadhi mean? Well, this refers to the function or result of Chan. Through Chan practice, the function that manifests is samadhi. In the Chan tradition, Chan and samadhi are actually the same thing. Chan is already unmoving, so its function naturally appears stable. When a person truly awakens, realizes self-nature, see the self-nature is empty, this is wisdom. With wisdom present, one is no longer disturbed by external conditions. The mind remains balanced and at ease, and this is called samadhi. So we have a question. Is this the same as sitting still in meditation? Of course, no. This is not the samadhi of the 4 dhyanas and 8 samadhi. It is the mind not being shaken by external conditions, remaining at ease regardless of circumstances. So, as Mencius said, Mengzhi, when deer pass before the eyes, the gaze does not flicker. When Mount Tai, the great mountain in China, when Mount Tai collapses before one, the expression does not change. Even that is already quite remarkable. But Chan Samadhi goes further. No afflictive thoughts arise. No external changes disturb the mind. Yet we have a warning about false awakening. Some people like to claim awakening, saying, I became enlightened very easily, but afterward, they still scold others, they still feel jealousy, they still criticize others, and they still indulge in desires. So, is this awakening? No. This is not awakening. This is what we might jokingly call not awakening, but producing fog, F-O-G, creating confusion and mist, deceiving oneself into thinking one is enlightened. Such a person is simply intoxicated with self-delusion. Therefore, the question follows, what is true awakening? True awakening is great and thorough realization, harmonizing with the world without attachment, no clinging whatsoever. If someone claims awakening but constantly criticizing others, reacts with irritation, defends themselves aggressively, then clearly awakening has not occurred. Sometimes when such people are pointed out, they respond with criticism in return. This only shows both sides are still in confusion. This is not awakening, and it is still fog, F-O-G. Then we still have a question: how to deal with being disturbed by external conditions. So first, contemplate that everything is empty. If you are easily affected, it means you cannot let go of external conditions. You care too much about yourself. Because of self-centeredness, you are moved by external situation. You give rise to anger, jealousy, and attachment. Whether it is greed, anger, or aversion, all are signs of being turned by condition. Therefore, is that Chan? Of course, no. Chan is, if outwardly free from forms, the mind is not disturbed. When you no longer cling to external situations, your mind naturally becomes stable. Well, we have an example concerning disturbed by sound. So when someone says, when I meditate, I hear birds outside and my mind is disturbed. Then ask them, do you like the sound or dislike it? If you dislike it, you are already disturbed, right? And if you like it, what is it? You are also disturbed. So what should you do? Well, turn it into a method. When you hear sound, reflect. There is sound in space. Sound is empty. And this is like the teaching. Form is not different from emptiness. Emptiness is not different from form. Then there's no need to cling to it. Yet we have the most difficult sounds. What is it? The human voices. Among all sounds, human voices are the most troublesome. The voice of someone you love. The voice of someone you dislike. If it is your loved one, you cannot let go. If it is someone you dislike, you react strongly. Either way, you cannot practice. Well, there is a story. A person who's studying in Japan. One night, he heard a girl crying next door. He suddenly woke up and thought, that is my daughter. He became extremely anxious. How is she? What happened? He even considered buying a plane ticket to return home immediately. So he called home, and his daughter was peacefully asleep. But after that, he could not continue his studies. Eventually, he returned home without finishing his degree. This shows how powerful attachment can be. So we have a reflection. Do you have such experiences? If a mother does not, she may seem heartless. If a father does not, he may also seem heartless. Well, this is human attachment. So, from Chan's perspective, if one truly realizes the daughter is empty, all appearances are empty, then one is no longer disturbed. But this is not easy, right? It's something for you to reflect. So, true samadhi is what? When one truly awakens, no situation creates emotional disturbance. No condition gives rise to affliction. The mind remains non-abiding. Well, as taught in the Diamond Sutra, the mind should abide nowhere. There is no anger, no attachment, no self-centeredness. But, because there's no self, the mind is naturally unmoving. And this is what the Platform Sutra means by the original nature is inherently stable. So this section that we just mentioned about brings everything into living practice. Emptiness is not withdrawal. Non-attachment is not indifference. Samadhi is not rigidity. Rather, in the midst of sound, remain unmoved. In the midst of conditions, remain clear. In the midst of life, remain free. This is Chan. The reason the mind becomes disturbed is, the reason our mind becomes disturbed is that it is moved by external conditions. This is what is meant by the mind is turned by conditions, or the mind is pulled along by circumstances. And here, Shi Gong shared a story. He said, I have a disciple who, when I spoke with him this morning, began to cry. I very much felt like crying with him. But then I thought, I must not let my mind be turned by his state. So I did not cry. He cried for quite a while, and then gradually stopped. In the end, he was turned by me. If I had cried too, he would certainly have burst out crying loudly. And if I had cried loudly, he would have cried even more loudly. I thought, my mind must not be moved by this. So I remained as I was, calm and unaffected. And little by little, he also stopped crying. So the mind should not move simply because something happens in the environment. This is actually quite difficult. When we watch a play on the stage, people cry and laugh. As an observer, if you do not cry or laugh along with them, that is already not easy. Movie advertisements even tell people to bring 2 handkerchiefs so they can wipe away their tears. They want to move the audience. That is the film company's trick. But in fact, it really can make people cry. Some people do not bring a handkerchief. After the film, they say, "It was very good, very moving," but they did not cry. Yet many people are sobbing all over the place. The people on the screen cry. The audience cries with them. In a comedy, the people on the stage laughed, and the audience laughs too. Really? How foolish. The script is written by human beings. The actors are only acting. What appears on the screen is only light passing through strips of film. Fundamentally, it is empty, unreal. So why cry so hard? And yet, if you watch a movie and do not cry or laugh along with it, it feels as though you never really watched it at all, as though you did not even relax a little. By laughing and crying, one releases emotion, and afterward one feels somewhat better. But is that samadhi? Is that Chan? So, next time you watch a movie or television, will you still bring a handkerchief? Or will you still use napkins? Perhaps yes, because you have not yet reached that level. But you should at least know that such a response is only an emotional release, an emotional episode. It is not samadhi. If one cultivates Chan samadhi to its highest level, one can indeed reach a point beyond being moved by such conditions. If someone has truly had a great awakening, then these environmental circumstances do not shake that person's mind. So, in one's understanding, one must trust cause and effect and understand conditions. Even with the same this Buddhist scripture, if 10 people explain it, their explanation will differ. People of different times will also interpret it differently. And so what does that scripture really mean? Only the one who first spoke it knew directly. Those of us who come later can only explain it according to our own later understanding and experience. Well, as for a teacher, I would not say that we truly understand Buddha Dharma or fully comprehend the scriptures. We can only speak from our own experience and understanding of Buddhism, and then ask, how can this be useful for people living today? That is the point we focus on. This is also why throughout generations, Dharma teachers and Chan masters keep explaining the same scriptures repeatedly. Each generation must reinterpret them afresh. However, even though we say that explanation inevitably However, even though we say that explanation inevitably includes one's own experience and understanding, Buddha Dharma still has certain fundamental principles that do not change. When we teach Dharma, we cannot depart from these basic principles. Two of them are especially essential: the principle of cause and effect. The principle of causes and conditions. If you leave these two behind and still try to explain Buddha Dharma, then you are teaching may no longer truly be Buddhism. What is meant by cause and effect? It means that whatever has already happened must have its causes. Some causes we may know, others we may not know. But whenever an event occurs, whenever a phenomenon appears, there are causes behind it. What is meant by causes and conditions? It refers to what has not yet happened. We must be very careful here. Effort is important, yes. But if our judgment is wrong, then the result may also turn out wrongly. A single change in one factor may lead to an entirely different result. This requires wisdom. In dealing with present circumstances and in considering future development, wisdom is necessary. It is not enough only to analyze data. One must also have foresight. By foresight, we mean seeing the broad direction, the larger principle, not only the partial and immediate, but the whole and the long term. This is what is called something that can be both great and enduring. To hold firmly to such a principle, that is wisdom. But if one thinks only in terms of what is immediate, partial, and personal, then one becomes subjective. This is not wisdom. And when one handles possible future events in that way, the resulting causes and conditions may not turn out well. All of this may sound like old, familiar advice. Every one of us has heard such things and know the principle. But when we ourselves are placed in a real situation, when our own personal interests are involved, can we still do it? Speaking is easy, but can we actually do it? That is a very great question. And that is exactly why we need Dharma practice and Dharma experience to help us. So this is a story about a teacher. Shigong has a disciple who feels what Shigong says is very reasonable. So he repeats Shigong's words everywhere to others. For example, when people become ill, he says, your problem is just in your mind. If your mind changes, then there's no problem. The sickness of the body is not really sickness. The sickness of the mind is the real sickness. As long as your mind is healthy, your illness will be gone. Well, those words are not wrong. But then the disciple becomes sick. And once he became sick, he also rested, went to the doctor, and received treatments. So others asked him, didn't you say that if the mind is healthy, then one is healthy? Why are you sick too? So when he himself became sick, he could rest and see a doctor. But when others became sick, he still would not allow them to be sick. This is called being able to speak, but not able to practice. It is easy to talk. It is easy to tell others what to do. So when Shigong learned of it, Shigong told that disciple, your practice is not deep enough. You need to repent more and bow to the prostration to the Buddha more. It is useless for you merely to speak to others if you cannot do it yourself. And the disciple replied, Master, you too should prostrate to the Buddha more. So what he meant was, Shigong too can say things, but may not always live up to them fully. In truth, Shigong's situation may be a little better, but even Shigong often finds it easy to speak than to carry out perfectly. The difference is that Shigong does not reflect. The difference is that Shigong does reflect on himself. Also, when dealing with ordinary people, disciples, or lay followers, the first thing Shigong must consider is the other person's level, their mental state, emotional condition, and physical condition. Perhaps Sugong still does not consider everything thoroughly enough. But at least he does not insist that others must follow his own views or ideas exactly as he would. Because Sugong said he have spoken so much on the Diamond Sutra and the Platform Sutra, he often reflects and remind himself that his consideration may still be incomplete. So Sugong tried his best to think more carefully. Sugong said he may not have much wisdom. He borrows the Buddha's wisdom to help him. This is why those who teach the sutras or spread the Dharma must not violate the basic principles. Of course, as we know, there are two fundamental principles of Buddha Dharma, which are the principle of cause and effect, the principle of causes and condition. These must never be abandoned. Okay, so I will stop here.
Thank you for your Shifu. We have 10 minutes left. We proceed for Bergabung Shifu.
We just stay for questions.
Okay, sure, Shifu. So, does anybody have a question for Shifu to regards to today's topic? Please, you may unmute yourself and turn on your video. Thank you.
Or you may have want to share something. It's fine.
Shifu, regards to the enlightenment that Shifu mentioned, we as a practitioner, some of us might have experienced small realization, but after the realization, we always go back to our own self. Because as Sifu mentioned, our practice not deep enough or not strong enough, and the experience is not deep enough. So we cannot say that we are enlightened, or can we say that we have already experienced enlightenment, Sifu?
Well, may not. Well, actually, let me put it this way: if someone is experienced enlightenment, and it is safe, or actually because the experience of no self. So since there's no self, then there's not necessary to say, I am enlightened. Understand? So usually the one who is enlightened, they less likely say that I am enlightened. Why? Because the I is there. So usually they don't say it.
Thank you, Sifu. But because we are how about if we say that we experience enlightenment to encourage other practitioners so that it's possible for us to experience that kind of, because in Chan is, can we consider that small enlightenment as sudden enlightenment, Sifu? even though it's
Enlightenment is enlightenment. It doesn't matter it is shallow or deep. Still, it is enlightenment. So if you want to encourage others, you may not, outwardly keep saying that I'm enlightened, but you may share some experience.
beautiful.
So, hello, good afternoon, good morning. May I give a suggestion? Venerable,
Go ahead.
nice to see you. So,
Yes.
yes, I found very interesting and beautiful your talk, especially the comparison of practice in silence with the method and practice in life. And I'm just reading by accident the Vimalakirti Sutra, what is exactly about this problem. That when we cultivate a certain way of stilling the mind, it can be that we are not, that we are still clinging to a self and to a separation. So when you had these 2 points of practicing your method, our method, and practicing outside, I think in both ways it's very important to be aware what we think, what goes in the mind, our production, because everything is produced in the mind, is a concept. So for example, when I'm confronted with jealousy, what is liberating is when I am aware that it's jealousy and I say to myself, it is not good. Don't go in this, Carl. Please see, it is just a talk. So this work is always to be done. And I think this work is also to be done when we sit in silence, because the thoughts come, we recognize, and we have to turn away back to the method. So that was, I found the approach is not so very different. It is maybe more difficult. Like good practitioners, I had heard in China, they were practicing under bridges where a lot of traffic noise was, because it was more obstacle for them to keep the mind quiet and not disturbed. But I think the principle is always the same, not to be attached by it, not to, we can say, cling, let it pass. So I wanted to share this. Thank you for your talk.
Thank you very much, Carl, for your sharing. Yeah. Well, the example of practicing in the mid of nowadays, in the mid of the heavy traffic in the city, which is not so easy, And if we haven't come to that level yet, it could be very disturbing by the so-called noise pollution. And one cannot even settle the mind. And therefore, one has to reach certain level so that one could sustain such noise pollution in the midst of the heavy traffic or chaotic traffic.
Yes, I remember in Queens sometimes, yeah, in the Dharma Center, especially New Year's evening when we were sitting and there was all the bars around making noise. Yeah.
Well, in
But
Queens,
it is the same principle.
Yeah, in Queens, in the Queens Center, to that level of traffic is still not considered that, disruptive, or so much of this that could become what call it the overwhelming. In Queens, it's still not that bad, because when we close the door, we still hear noise, the people are talking and traffic, but we inside and we meditate. Now, given the situation of one standing in the mid of the traffic of the highway that is in the center of these highway bridges, it's terrible. It could hurt a person. I saw a policeman in Bangkok, and he was standing there to direct the traffic. He looked so tired. I felt badly about him. And I saw him, he looked so tired, and he still had to work. That's terrible. So hopefully every morning he will need to meditate first before he goes to work. Yeah,
it depends on the view he has on his job.
Thank you, Korean Shifu. Any more questions from the floor? If there's no more question, then we proceed for transfer Meditasi Chan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shifu.
Please join your palms. We pray for the flourishing of Buddha Dharma, for peace in the world, for the joy and contentment of all people, for the freedom and ease of body and mind. May sentient being depart from suffering. May the vows of the donors be fulfilled. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shifu. Chan, can you please show the retreat? Yeah, we just want to inform Indonesian friends. Chan Medan community will go to Malaysia for 7 days silent illumination retreat in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. So if any of friends who want to join with us together for the retreat, you can contact us. So during the retreat, normally they will display Master Sengyen video and will explain step by step how to enter the silent illumination method. So whoever interested in learning silent illumination, please feel free to contact me or Xiaozhen or any of the admin. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shifu. May you have a good day, Shifu.
Have a good night. Have a good day, everyone.
Good day, Shifu. Shifu, you look happy.
Okay, thank you.
Let's join our path together. Please bow to Shifu for respect. Bow. Thank you for the teaching, Shifu.
Thank you, everyone.
Good day, Shifu. See you next week, Shifu.
See you,
Okay,
Shifu.
see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Kasih semuanya. Makasih Pak Agus.
Xiaozhen,
Semuanya.
Ko Iman, Cici, Cili, Mega.
Bye. Ya,
Bye-bye.
kemarin gue daftar kayaknya tulisnya beginning loh. Bukan silent illumination.
Beginning
Retretnya